boys in our clubhouse getting high. Super fuckers! Everybody wishes we would die. Super fuckers! Here we come like a bomb. Everybody fucking run and hide.
Now I'm recording.
Hey everyone, this podcast is brought to you by the game DashBored, made by Tumblr user Carbonic. So if you want to go play an awesome RPG, go play that.
That's Nolan's friend, everyone.
Yay.
What's the game about, Nolan?
The game is about exploring a unique RPG world. I can't tell you because you should go play the game yourself. I'm really bad at this.
What's it called?
DashBored, DashBored.
Okay, we'll link that in the description. But yeah, it's the Pizza Party Podcast. Who are you people?
Nolan.
Hey, I'm Jim.
Hi.
And we have two guests for some reason.
Yeah, I'm DigiBro. I am the self-described otaku gonzo journalist. I got a channel where I talk about anime shit, and then a million other channels where I talk about everything in the universe.
And who's the other guy?
Super Spoe. I draw a lot of NSFW and porn stuff. I don't.
And why are you here?
That's a very good question. It just kind of happened. I was in a stream with Nolan, and you guys just sort of showed up. So yeah. I should really ask you that question.
Yeah, Spoe was not supposed to be here, but he just showed up anyway. He's the Waluigi of the podcast.
Everyone loves Waluigi, though.
No, they don't.
I mean, he's getting his own amiibo.
Whoa, wait, what? Oh my god.
He is.
Holy shit, I can't believe it's finally happening. Like, for the longest time, I used to dream that Waluigi would get his game someday, but it still hasn't happened.
Speaking of dreams, though, I had a dream last night where I was walking through a video store, and I found Space Jam 2 on VHS. And
they're bringing back VHS.
Wait, like it happened and you had never seen it and you just found it by accident?
Yeah, it was like with Michael Jordan and everybody, and I was like, oh shit, I gotta show the internet this. So I pull out my phone, and for some reason I couldn't take a picture of it because it either came out super blurry or somebody got in the way, and I was like, what is happening?
No.
Oh, it was one of those cursed VHSs.
Yeah.
That like you can't take pictures of. I've heard of those.
Cthulhu's VHS. You can't fathom it.
And Waluigi comes from Mario Tennis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think so.
Yeah.
It's his first game, I think.
Yeah, that's cool. I love Mario Tennis.
DigiBro, you make all these anime analysis videos. For anyone who hasn't seen your videos, which video would you recommend them watching first?
I would say I recently, a couple months ago, made a video called what is the appeal of anime? I think that's a good starting place just for kind of getting into the mindset by which I approach the whole medium, and especially if you want to show anybody who doesn't understand the appeal of anime, show them that. It might help, although it is kind of like a dense and verbose the way I wrote it. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I would just say go through, find a show you like, watch a video about it, and then watch all the other videos about the shows you've never heard of, because it's a good way to get introduced to a bunch of new shows.
Yeah.
I think with your channel, DigiBro, one channel I actually like a lot is your DigiBro After Dark. I don't know, it's good for just like white noise videos, because it's usually just you talking about some random topic for like half an hour or so.
Right. I post a lot of vlogs on my DigiBro After Dark channel. It's like a constant stream of me vlogging about every random thought that comes into my head. So
yeah. Those are like my favorite type of videos, just like white noise that you can just put in while you're working.
Yeah, and as someone who also likes the more atypical reviews and stuff, I loved your YAS, sorry.
Yeah, your anime sucks.
Sword Art Online 2.
Yeah, you guys had YMS on the show just a couple months ago, right? I listened to that episode.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. I'm a big fan of his, and I literally ripped off his entire thing and did a Sword Art Online 2 video based on the Your Movie Sucks style. I even stole all his music, so it was a fun time. Some of my most successful videos.
Yeah, you went into a lot of detail on just like why Sword Art Online is so terrible.
Yeah.
It's been a while, so I haven't seen that show in forever, and I'm starting to forget, like, why was it so bad? But I think back to Death Sword, or what it was?
Death
Death
Gun.
Gun. The worst possible name. Maybe it sounded cooler in Japanese.
No, his name was Desugan.
It was just always.
It was
Death
the English
Gun.
letters, English words. Yeah, man, my relationship with Sword Art Online though has gotten to the point of like endearment because it's like it's a meme in my life, like. Because it's not just like an internet thing. Like a big part of why I started talking about the show is because my brother hated it first, and he would complain about it all the time, and that sort of inspired me to watch it and then hate it even more than he did and write about it. So me and him would joke about Sword Art Online so much that eventually it just became a part of our lives. And like I know those characters now better than I know some characters from shows I actually love. So I have this I have this very like interesting like love to hate it relationship with that franchise now.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of really excited because I want to watch Sword Art Online now. Like I know exactly what I'm getting into, but
yeah, I'm excited for the idea that when they make a season 3, then I get to talk about it. Here's the thing, though, is that Sword Art Online is not good as a so bad it's good show. Like, it's just boring most of the time. Like, a lot of it is just characters sitting around talking. So it's not the kind of show you can watch and, like, really get a laugh out of it. But if you do want to do that, I recommend the PSP games that they made for it, because those are fucking hilarious. And
Nobody owns a PSP.
I do.
well, they remade them on the PS4, so you can get them on there for relatively cheap.
I'm a fucking Sony fanboy, and I bought a PS4 when there were no games for it. But hey, I get PT now, so I have a piece of gaming history.
I don't have PT, but
Whoa, so it's saved?
Yeah,
on
I have
there?
it saved.
Oh crap! You can sell it on eBay for a ton.
no, that actually everyone listed it on eBay for a ton, but from what I heard, no one actually sold any. Like everyone kept thinking that it would make the game rare and it would be like super worth something, but there were actually so many people who had downloaded PT that no one could actually sell it for those insane prices they were trying to.
It was kind of like back when Flappy Bird was a thing and it got deleted off the App Store, and people would sell like phones with Flappy Bird, the app downloaded on it, for like thousands of dollars on eBay, like in hoping that people would want to buy a phone for that much just for a free app game.
Yeah, that most people had already downloaded by then.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
that's the problem with digital content.
Man, I'll say of the PS4 though that for a console, everyone always says it has no games, and I was afraid to buy it because I knew that reputation, but I just kind of had money to throw around. So I bought a PS4, and then I ended up getting, within like a day, more games for that console than I had for the entire last console generation. Not that I'm the biggest gamer in the world, obviously, but I ended up with a lot of PS4 games, so I feel pretty good about it.
Yeah, and I think they're starting to release more PS3 remasters for it. And
Yeah, I mean, some of the ones I got were just those, so it doesn't exactly count.
Yeah.
Oh. Although were you guys there for when the PS3 first came out? Did anyone buy a PS3?
So here's a giant enemy crab.
Ridge Racer! My cousin bought the PS3 like the same month it came out, and we were excited, and we realized there's not that many good games.
No, yeah, it took like a year and a half.
It was cross-compatible.
I remember 6 months after the PS3 released, Screw Attack made a top 10 best PS3 games, and for the top 10,
I've seen that.
there was no 10 ranking, there was no 9 ranking. Number 8 was the Superman, the 80s Superman movie on Blu-ray.
Yeah.
And the rest were actual PS3 games. That's what it was like to have a PS3 in 2006.
Number 10. Number 9.
Hey, Handsome Tom. What? There's not a game here either.
Number 8.
Now this is a game. Virtual Fighter 5, all the levels, characters, it plays so good.
Wait. It's on 360. It's not exclusive.
Number 7.
I recommend the YouTube video PS4 Man about it's a song about the PS4. It says Sell us a game for the PS4. Give us a game to buy. It's about how Bloodborne is the only game on the PS4. Recommended from my good friend Best Guy Ever. Check his channel out. He's a
That was
genius.
a lovely singing voice, actually. What the heck?
Yeah, that was nice.
I can sing. I like to
We're
sing.
gonna show off.
You got to show off your talents on the Pizza Party podcast.
Yeah, we get so much talent, and everybody gets picked up here. This is where their careers start.
Yeah, this is where the Beatles started.
And this is Lady Gaga was a guest here a long time ago. She was really into weeaboos and stuff. We had her on, so.
She seems like she'd be into that.
Yeah, definitely.
DigiBro, do you have any upcoming videos?
I try not to talk about my upcoming videos because of this phenomenon that once I learned about it, I immediately identified it as something that affects me, which is that when you talk about something that you're planning to do, it releases the same endorphins in your brain that you would get from actually doing it.
Yes,
So
I know
you
about
achieve-
that.
Yeah, you achieve the same satisfaction. And for me, whenever I describe the more detail I describe something into someone else, the more I feel like I've already done it and like I mentally can move past it. So I make a point that if there's a project that's not completed yet, or it's not like in the final stages where like I know it's definitely going to happen, then I won't talk about it. But I can talk about one video that's going to come out very soon, which is sort of an in-depth analysis of the first episode of Steins Gate and why it's really good, because a lot of people seem to think that show doesn't get good till later, and I disagree.
Okay.
No, that's interesting. You bring in that up because I noticed that a lot where I'll be talking about something for a while and then I'll be like, well, I can't work on this video or this project for a month. And then by the time it's time to work on it, I'm like, yeah, but I feel like it's finished and it's not.
Yeah.
And it like gives you this weird sense of completion when you've done
It's like
absolutely
something
nothing.
I could never put into words, but have felt. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's kind of
But
strange.
it is a real thing. Like that's
Yeah, I read about it on the website You Are Not So Smart, which is like a sort of fun pop psych website that tells you about all the ways that your brain fucks you, essentially. And it's really interesting. I recommend reading all of it, but that was the one that's like the most actionable, that I read that and I went, I'm going to not talk about the things I work on anymore.
Yeah, I
'Cause
call
have this problem.
the website called You Are Not So Smart. I call that Google. So
So basically, you don't want to just like rent it out here. You want to save it for the video, essentially.
Yeah, just don't like. I've had a lot of times where I promised I was going to make a video. I was like, oh yeah, I'm working on this thing and it's going to be great, and then it never comes out. So I can only mention the Steins Gate one because it's already in the final editing stages. So that'll be out probably around the same time as this pod. I don't know how long into the future are these released? How long are these pre-recorded?
Oh, this Tuesday.
Okay, so yeah, it'll probably be out maybe the next day or so.
oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Although for me, I'm always a person who wants to like recycle everything I said. Like if a joke works with one person, I'm gonna keep using that for every single person I meet and
Right.
rant about the same thing.
I think everybody does that.
But okay, for my next video, it's a review of Duckamn.
Yes, I'm so excited for
Oh
this.
man,
Does anyone know what Duckamn is?
Bunch of thin-skinned, no-humor pansies. You tell them an icebreaker or two about women's livers, gays, environmentalists, several minorities, the homeless, couple of religions, anorexics, obese people, the handicapped, old farts, baldness, and people who walk real goofy because they just had a vasectomy, and suddenly they get all sensitive, like I'd offended one of them or something. Makes you wonder why they even asked me to talk in the first place.
Wasn't it community service for that incident with the ladder at the second-story window of the girls' dormitory?
I told the judge that was sort of case-related, in a way.
What the hell is Duckamn? I have no idea what Duckamn is.
Oh, it's so 90s. It was on USA Network.
Did you see it when it was on, Jim?
Oh yeah, I watched it a lot when I was on. I was like, it was in the 90s. It was like USA's big original show. And like, it was on late nights at first, but I think late nights, I was like a kid. So late nights was like 10:30 or something. You know, it was like elementary school when it was on. And I'd watch it. And then they started playing it more. It was around that time when South Park hit and networks were like, what adult cartoons do we have? And they played Duckamn a lot because they're like, this is an adult cartoon kind of. But I remember it's very 90s and its humor, and I think it was a little esoteric. I remember there's one episode where they said like the drama in the episode had gotten weird, like a 50s movie that no one remembered the title of, but always caught at 2 a.m. in the morning. And I was like, that's so weird. It was a weird stuff, but it has the Klasky. I don't know if it was Klasky.
Klasky Chupo.
Was it them?
Yeah, the guys who made Rugrats,
okay.
Power of that animation studio.
Because it's cool, and Jason Alexander's the lead, right in prime Seinfeld fame. So I remember liking it, but I haven't seen it in a good, like, a long, probably since the 90s. But I'm curious, like, to see a review of it and all that stuff. What did you think of it?
I kind of consider it like the 90s BoJack Horseman. Like, it's very much in the similar style of it. Like, it's just a cynical asshole who has some, like, sympathetic moments with his family and stuff. And, like, this came out before South Park and Family Guy, so there wasn't really any raunchy comedies back then. I mean,
no.
As bad as it got was The Simpsons, and that wasn't really all that extreme.
Because didn't it start before Space Ghost? Like, what year did Duckman start?
94.
Coast to Coast came out in 94, so it's like the same era, but Duckman got a lot more attention. Like Space Ghost didn't really blow up till a couple years out. So, because USA really wanted Duckman to become a thing, but it wasn't like people cared a lot less about USA. So
yeah, it was on a channel nobody really cared about.
I actually saw an ad for Comedy Central. I was watching an old tape of a Mystery Science Theater, and they had an ad for Comedy Central, and they said like USA, the USA Network brings down the country's name with its bad reviews of its terrible programming, but here at Comedy Central, we don't let our bad reviews bring down the name of America. And I was like, that's kind of funny, but I was like, what USA shows were they referring to? I don't even know. It's like a weird diss ad, like your shows suck. But our shows suck too, but at least we're not called USA, I guess. I don't know.
Damn, that's very blatant.
Yeah.
If anyone watching this likes BoJack Horseman, look up Duckman. I mean, you can find all the episodes on YouTube since, I don't know, I guess they just uploaded them officially, maybe.
The cool thing about early 90s cable is that there wasn't really, it was like the Wild West. They were kind of just letting people make these weird shows. And like something like Duckman might not have been able to happen now, but it could happen then because they're like, well, let's see what sticks, like what's getting pitched to us. Because a lot of bigger people weren't going to pitch shows to USA then, you know? So it was like I actually like 90s cable a lot because it's just like you'd get all these weirder, odder shows that I don't now would be like on streaming or YouTube or something. But then we're like on bigger networks. So
although I think Duckman could have succeeded if it came out today on like Adult Swim, like it would actually have an audience for itself instead of just being like the only animated show on this one niche channel nobody watches.
I mean, also consider in the 90s, like one of the biggest cable shows in 94 was Tales from the Crypt. Like it was a way different time than it is now.
You guys want to get into the news?
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is CNN.
All right, so news. There isn't really all that much news, but first I'll say is we have the fan junk playlist. If anybody has any videos pertaining to RebelTaxi, the podcast, or whatever, just mail them to me at rebeltaxi@yahoo.com, and I'll put them in the playlist, and that's linked in the description. But also, we have the fan DeviantArt and the fan Reddit in the description. But for news, if anyone remembers this thing called Mighty MagiSword, it's a bunch of shorts on Cartoon Network's app.
Yeah, I know that stuff. One of my friends works on that.
Oh, what the fuck?
Yeah, it's David Barron Art at tumblr.com. Give him a little plug here. Go check him out. But yeah, I know it as like the web shorts. I haven't really watched much of it myself.
Yeah, it's a series of web shorts on Cartoon Network's apps and I think their online website of basically these these guys who have like different magic swords, like accordion sword, fish sword, and that's the whole show. But now that's going to be an entire series on its own. So, you know, there's also hope for Liquid Plaza Turbo.
Hopefully, because I feel like that has more people behind it than Mighty MagiSwords did.
Okay, yeah. Next news. Does anyone remember that movie Gnomeo and Juliet?
Oh, God.
Yes. I didn't see it, but I feel
Vaguely.
unfortunate to even know it existed.
This was basically the story of Romeo and Juliet, but with gnomes, and it was a CGI movie that came out like 2011 or so.
Garden Gnomes, specifically. right?
Yeah, garden gnomes, porcelain gnomes. But they're making a spin-off sequel.
Oh.
Sherlock Gnomes.
How did it even get enough money to warrant a sequel, though? Like,
Sherlock Gnomes. They're just going to remake all of classic literature with gnomes.
To quote the ever-lovely Mike Stalaska, movies make me want to be dead.
please tell me it'll be playing in January, so it can be a fuck you, it's January.
Well, the last one came out in February, so, right? Around January.
Close enough.
Yeah, pretty close.
I'm trying to find out.
Oh, man.
Oh my god! Gnomeo Juliet cost $36 million to make and had a box office return of $194 million.
That's a really cheap for an animated movie, only $30 million.
Yeah, but it made $194 million. That's why they're making a sequel.
That's really I think that's more than The Good Dinosaur made, actually.
It is. It is more.
Ouch.
Well, I discovered before you came in, I realized when I looked at Finding Dory's box office, it actually made more in one weekend than A Good Dinosaur.
Eat your heart out, Pixar.
Shit, everyone just rips on The Good Dinosaur.
Didn't you label a video A Good Dinosaur Bombs?
I made it the most extreme thumbnail ever, like the dinosaur exploding, saying,
"Oh yeah,
Good Dinosaur Bombs is Pixar fucking dead."
They were like, fuck it, we're just doing sequels.
Like the most extreme version of clickbait. Like it's not look, if it's self-aware, it's not clickbait. It's satirical, you know.
You have to have at least 4 red arrows in a red circle to make it real clickbait, though. Let's be honest.
It's like ultimate clickbait.
I'm looking at the Gnomeo and Juliet Sherlock Gnomes thing. Apparently, they're going to have Sherlock Gnomes be voiced by Johnny Depp, but I have to wonder if that's going to change now with his reputation.
His reputation.
That's probably
he
how
supposedly beat his wife.
I heard.
Oh, I thought you meant reputation of making shitty movies.
No, I meant his reputation as a woman beater that has recently emerged.
Or is it like the combination? They're like, not only did I not like sitting through pretty much everything he's been through in the past 5 years, I also don't like him as a person.
I feel as though like Johnny Depp and Tim Burton have both just lost their ways. Like no one really cares about their movies anymore. They're not the big box office draws they used to be.
No, not at all.
I remember watching a late night talk show with some of my family, and Johnny Depp came on, and the applause literally went on for like a solid minute. Jesus. And it was just like, and now it's just like, oh, Johnny Depp, who cares?
They just overliked him, and I think a lot of it has to do with that he kept delaying being in big movies in the 90s when he was like... When he could have, he kept rejecting them, and then when he like became famous for Jack Sparrow, it was just like people were just so excited for him to be a movie star. It was just ridiculous. Like then Charlie Chocolate Factory, then those awful pirate sequels, and I don't know why people liked it. I don't know how that went on for so long. It just doesn't.
I mean, aren't they making a new one?
Oh yeah, they are. They are.
Oh,
I think they've already shot it.
They kind of try to recapture the magic of Johnny Depp in Pirates of the Caribbean with that one Lone Ranger movie.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they did.
That was terrible.
They like... Oh. That is totally a dumb Hollywood thing where they really didn't want that director, because it's the director of the Pirates movies, and Johnny Depp to go to another studio, which they were threatening to do, to make Lone Ranger of all things. And Disney was like, well, they made us a lot of money, so we better make this movie. It's like, guys, you should have just said no. This sounds awful. Like, and let another studio handle it. But Disney just was like, no, we'll die on this sword for Johnny and Gore Verbinski.
Also play like a Native American person on Lone Ranger, even though he's like white.
It's so bad.
Okay, well, actually, they painted him red, and then on top of that, they painted him white again. So that's like double jumping ethnicities there.
It's literally like what's going on with the Ghost in the Shell thing right now, but just with makeup instead of CG.
No, they're not going to do that.
Oh, yeah, speaking of that, DigiBro, what did you think of that whole debacle? Did you make a video on it?
I have not made a video on it, but I am fascinated with it because I'm a big fan of Ghost in the Shell. And as soon as they announced this movie in the beginning, like, I thought it's just going to be fucking Lucy. Like that's all it's going to be, because it's going to be a Hollywood take on Ghost in the Shell, which means they're going to look at it and they're going to say it's a strong female protagonist, and they mean strong as in she kicks people's asses. So it's just going to be like a cool chick kicking people's asses, and that's going to be the movie. There's not going to be any intellectual depth to it. Then they got Scarlett Johansson who played Lucy, and then they got her co-star from Lucy to play Bato, and I went, okay, well, there's all of my suspicions confirmed. And then for some reason, I mean, I knew that Scarlett Johansson was supposed to play her for like a year and a half, but then it was when the pictures emerged that people started making a stink about the fact that it was a white person playing Motoko. And the funny thing about that particular complaint is that Motoko is a cyborg who changes bodies all the time. So it could have very easily been justified that if they were going to set a movie in the US, and if they had any understanding of Ghost in the Shell, which I'm sure the writers don't, and they're not going to do any of this, but they could very easily have said, well, she went into a white person's body to go to the US because she wanted to fit in or something, like Motoko changes bodies all the time. There's a part in the last standalone Complex movie, Solid State Society, where she's controlling like 6 bodies at once. So there's no reason she couldn't be a white person of all characters. And that, Motoko is like, she's not super Asian looking of a character to begin with. And her design has also been different in just about every single iteration of Ghost in the Shell. So like, if there was any character I didn't give a fuck about being white, it's Motoko. The problem is everything else with the movie. And the part that really offends me the most is that the Laughing Man is the villain. And I've read like a synopsis of the movie, and it sounds like it's like the Laughing Man wants to topple the government with super hacking, and I'm like, great. So took one of the most like complex villain ideas ever from standalone Complex season 1, which was that he was this younger guy who was trying to spread awareness of this certain thing that had happened to him and a bunch of other kids, and he was trying to make the world realize it, and doing so through hacking and through creating a chain of events that all looked like they were done by the same person when they were actually perpetrated by different people. It's this whole fucking societal idea thing. Like the whole season was about exploring the concept of the Laughing Man, and they're going to boil that down to yet another Julian Assange-based hacker guy, like the bad guy from Skyfall. That's all it's going to be, but like a cheap, shitty version that has the Laughing Man's name on it. So yeah, the movie's going to be fucking garbage, but I don't care about Johansson being white.
Can't wait for Akira.
Anime adaptations will be like it's like we haven't even gotten a good video game movie yet. I don't think if they're gonna start doing
didn't we get
adaptation. What?
Shit.
Actually,
I don't remember.
people say Angry Birds is really
You
good.
better not say Warcraft or I'm gonna kill you.
I just feel like it takes a while for Hollywood to really understand these things, and like the guy who's directing Ghost in the Shell is the guy who did Snow White and the Huntsman. And like right when I heard he was involved, I was like, I'm sure it will look pretty, but it will not be a good movie. And until they have somebody who like is really into anime
I'm a huge fan of the Speed Racer movie. That's my favorite movie of all time. So I think that's a great anime adaptation. And obviously the Wachowskis get anime on some level, even if The Matrix was inspired by Ghost in the Shell, but is not at all like it really in terms of concept. But I would love it if fucking what's his name? The guy who did the Avatar. Not Avatar adaptation, but James Cameron. He's been supposed to be making a Battle Angel Alita movie that he got the rights to like 15 years ago, and that would be fucking awesome. Like,
I think Rodriguez is doing that. Robert Rodriguez.
Really? Did he like hand it over to him or something, or hire him for it? Either one of them would be pretty cool for it, because it's like a 90s cyberpunk sort of like fairly schlocky. Like it's nothing special in terms of like high thematic ideas. It's just like a really cool, fun cyberpunk like post-apocalypse story. So like there's no reason James Cameron couldn't do a perfect job with that, and it would probably be a solid anime adaptation. And Edge of Tomorrow was pretty okay. That was based on a light novel.
So. That's true. Edge of Tomorrow was. I like Edge of Tomorrow. Yeah,
I thought the manga came first. I have All You Need Is Kill sitting on my shelf, and I haven't read it yet.
It was a light novel first, and then there was a manga adaptation, and then the film. But yeah, they're all fairly different, but they're all very tight short stories. I would say that I don't think I like the novel has a very different character from the film, because the novel is like this very angry teenage thing where it's like the main character is just like constantly screaming, fuck everything, fuck you, fuck the enemy, fuck everything going on. It's like a war is hell kind of a story, but from the perspective of like a 20-something gamer who's like pissed off at a video game, you know?
So Neros Q?
But
You will
what was that? I missed that joke.
Nero, he's a friend. Neros.
He makes Critique the Critic videos, basically.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's
It ends on his character, which is a Reaper, slicing people's heads off, and so far his only videos are critiquing my Powerpuff video.
Oh, that guy. Yeah, I heard some of your podcasts with that guy. He's using like a voice modifier, right? His voice is not that deep.
Yeah.
There's people in the comments who are speculating that's just Jim doing the thing, but no, that was really Neros.
I'm actually really offended about that. Because I would have been a lot funnier if I had done Neros Q. I think it would have been a lot better. I would have made it weird, you know. I don't know.
Be a much better improv actor.
If that was going to be my Chris Gaines, it would have been better. Because I've always wanted to have a Chris Gaines. And if people think that's my Chris Gaines, I'm offended. I'm just very offended.
I gotta say, I listened to some of that podcast, and I went over to that guy's channel, and yeah, I saw that it was just videos of him like being mad at you, and I was like, I thought it was interesting you guys brought him on the show when like his only content was shitting on you.
Yeah, that was kind of my idea.
Yeah, Nolan did it.
Yeah, it's all my fault.
Has he made another video yet, or is it just those two still?
He said his next video is going to be him like commenting on JonTron or something, so it's like he's gonna have a big storm coming.
I bet he thinks that he'll get on all these people's channels and he'll eventually be a big YouTube person. That's his theory. We'll see if that works out.
I've seen people trying to do exactly that, so I would not be too entirely surprised.
Actually, yeah, like that Drama Alert guy, I mean, he's made a whole career out of it, so.
Going back to Ghost in the Shell, how do you usually respond when people say, well, this anime character has big eyes, so they can't be Asian?
Oh man, it's just like a kind of I think a fundamental misunderstanding of like both what obviously it's an Asian stereotype that they all have small eyes, and then also a stereotype on anime that the eyes are like super huge or whatever. Like usually anime eyes are kind of almond shaped in a way, which is like here's the best way I can put it. Go look at some Japanese cosplayers. They look like anime characters. Like when Japanese girls do like the super nice cosplay of anime, they look just like the characters from the show. And if you look at white girls doing the same cosplays, they don't look like the characters from the show most of the time, because the shape of the eye is more important than the size of it, really. And when the Japanese draw characters who are not supposed to be Japanese, they look very different. They usually, like Americans or British people, always have like boxier eyes. Usually not even necessarily like, they don't usually have bigger eyes even. Japanese people have pretty big eyes. If you watch enough Japanese dramas and stuff, you'll realize that the small slanty eyes thing, that Asian stereotype, does not really apply to Japan that much. So yeah, I just think I've seen some other videos like explaining exactly what I'm saying right now that you can probably track down. But yeah, I just think it's all based on stereotypes and people not knowing what a Japanese person looks like, and B, having not enough appreciation for what is distinct about anime designs, and just sort of seeing the big eyes and going, oh, their eyes are giant, they're white people, you know.
It's also more of a stylistic thing, since, I mean, think about Charlie Brown. Like, by that logic, you can say that Charlie Brown is Asian, or like Finn from Adventure Time and stuff.
Yeah, it's just, yeah, it's weird. It's a weird thing, and I think when you watch enough anime, you'll eventually appreciate that, like, even like the skin tones, because people always say they look like they're light skinned, and it's like, well, not everyone in Japan is dark skinned. And if you look at idols and like Japanese, like famous Japanese women are typically light skinned. Like they tend towards like like their standard of beauty is like the fairer skinned people a lot of the time, you know. So anime characters, to me, they look exactly like Asian people, or like Japanese people, rather. Like I look at an anime character and I see an artist rendering of a Japanese person, and I know I can pick out a Japanese rendering of an American immediately upon looking at it, and not just because they always wear a cowboy hat and 6 American flags and carry a gun and say howdy when they show up.
I think back to I forget what that Sega PlayStation 1 video game was called. School Rumble, I think. But there was just this American girl who had blonde hair, and their outfit is just like an American flag wrestling suit, just red, white, and blue.
Americans, like any American that shows up at a Japanese show is like the most stereotyped possible thing. It's always bright blonde hair, blue eyes, some kind of flag, some kind of cowboy attire. They swear too much. They love guns. That's like
Bandit
the
Keith.
perspective of us. Yeah, Bandit Keith is a perfect example of an American character as represented in Japan.
In America. I went down to the game shop and I saw Yugi Moto, and he was all like, "It's time to duel." And I'm like, in America.
It's like my favorite trope in anime, though, honestly.
Yeah, it's great. It's great as an American because you can look at it. It's like, you know, it's to me, I'm highly entertained by the idea that this is what we look like to the rest of the world, you know?
Yeah, pretty much.
And Mimi from Digimon, she had a cowboy hat.
Was she American though? I don't remember.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh yeah, they made it clear that she was American.
I haven't seen Digimon in like 20 years.
Yeah.
It's not that old.
I don't know how we got on this topic, but yeah. Gnomeo and Juliet. So, are you excited for Sherlock Gnomes? Because
No.
I think we can like expand on this and make other forms of literature into gnomes.
I want Lolita to be a gnome.
So Gnome Lita?
Gnome Lita, yes.
That one could be the anime one. That's how you get me watching.
Good one, DigiBro-kun.
I'm just looking over at my book collection, like the picture of Nomian Gray or something. Like I'm trying to find a book.
Nomi and Gray.
The Necronomicon
Of mice and gnomes. The secret garden gnome.
The gnome with the pearl earring.
Gnome holes. The gnome version of holes. Gnome holes.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh, 50.
Gnome
I think we
Twilight.
should stop
Can't
while
even
we're
think about
ahead.
It could be 50 gnomes of gnomes.
50 Gnomes
50
Darker.
Shades of Gnome.
No, I just wanted 50 gnomes of gnome because that'll be funnier. Because there'll be a lot of gnomes.
The Chronicles of Gnome, the Lion, the Witch, and the Gnome.
The Fellowship of the Gnome.
It's time to stop.
People in the comments, please suggest your classic literature remade into garden gnomes.
Yeah.
For your parents.
Who, the gnome or your parents?
If Sherlock Gnomes it becomes a big success, like this could branch off into so many properties.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like people remake stuff in Lego, so why not gnomes?
There could be.
Everyone loves gnomes.
You know, I can't get excited for Sherlock Gnomes, but I can get excited for that Sherlock Pikachu game. Have you guys seen that thing?
That
yeah.
looks so cute.
I have no idea what the fuck that thing is, but it looks awesome. I want it badly. Because
I
it's
want that-
Pikachu with like a deep, surly voice, and he speaks English. I don't understand.
I want the petition to go through to have Danny DeVito.
Yes,
voice
I want that
Pikachu.
too. I think I signed that petition.
See, I think he would do it. I think he would do it.
Danny DeVito
The
will
question
do
is, would they
anything
hire
for
him to
money.
do it?
Didn't someone actually go up to Danny DeVito and ask him, and he just said, "What the fuck's a Pokemon?" Look, I want to believe that it really did happen.
I can believe it.
But yeah, so that's all for the news. But you guys want to get into the questions because we have a lot of time to spare.
Romeo and Juliet was the only news.
Was it any other?
Definitely a sad week.
Oh wait, Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack.
That might be a
We
little
have some
more.
news
We
actually.
should talk about that.
Yeah, so the upcoming Samurai Jack, which there's no definitive release date. They're still working on it. There was a panel at some anime con somewhere, and they said, first off, it's going to take place 50 years into the future, and Jack does not age. He lost his sword, and that's going to be a plot point to find it. And it's going to be a 10-episode series to finally give it a proper ending.
Wait, so it's 50 years in the future from the future where it already took place? Is that just so
We're
they can
even
like
deeper into the...
like show us like what happened to the people that he interacted with before, but now in the future? I don't know. It seems likely.
Pretty much.
So wait, it happens in the future, but Jack doesn't age. Or
Why doesn't he
anything?
age?
That's going to be a plot point. That's what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll see. But I'm just want to see like a trailer or something. Like I remember some artists saying that it's not going to be done in hand painted cells and actual paint. It's going to be done on computerized, but they're going to try to replicate the old style as best as they can. So I mean, it has Gendy Tartakovsky working on it, so I have confidence in it. It's going to be way better than the reboot of Powerpuff Girls.
Well, it doesn't take much to be better than that, though. Let's be honest here.
That's not a high bar.
They say it's still going to be more violent, but it's still going to be, you know, lighthearted and not going to be super dark serious. But still, they'll be able to get away with more stuff on screen. More.
I was wondering about that because I saw like from the few screenshots they showed, the first one was like Jack covered in blood and stuff, and I was just like, I mean, yeah, you can get away with it, but I hope it's not just
I mean, he spent a considerable amount of time covered in oil in the original.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
I hope they bring Phil Lamar back.
I'm sure they will. I don't know who they're going to get for Aku, though.
They've replaced Aku several times.
Oh, yeah.
I forget, like, for Uncle Iroh in Legend of Korra, did the voice sound just like Iroh? I don't remember. It's been a while.
It sounded okay, I guess.
I don't know. I'm sure they can find somebody who can sound like Aku, like he used to.
I mean, didn't, like, they replace Aku halfway through, like, the original show either way, like, the voice?
Oh, no, that was for Avatar.
I'm trying to remember a good Aku line.
Yeah, that's a good line.
Samurai Jack, why have you come to fight me?
Christ.
We have our new voice actor.
I just remembered the show Duck Dodgers with Daffy Duck. There was an episode where Daffy Duck hits his head on something, and he ends up in Samurai Jack's art style and basically trying to fight Aku. And I think it was done by the same animation team.
Man, were those at the same time? That show felt older than Samurai Jack to me.
Around 2002 or so. That was a great show, Duck Dodgers. Like, that's the best Looney Tunes spin-off series.
I think I like Looney Tunes show.
And one half century.
Nice.
You're just gonna show off that you can sing.
It's just taking me back, man. I haven't seen that show in 20 years.
I mean, you know, Tom Jones did sing the intro theme to Duck Dodgers.
Duck Dodgers, he's fighting tyranny in the 24th and one half century.
Questions. If anybody has any questions, be sure to comment with.
Oh wait, should we have talked about Finding Dory? Or did I say that already?
Oh fuck yeah, Finding Dory.
Or did you want to talk about that in Warcraft? Or I'm sorry. Should we just ignore? Should we just ignore this and move on?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
Just ignore animation. We don't need to know anything about that.
Okay, Warcraft was
news.
And you know, okay.
News. Finding Dory made a lot of money that I'm not getting, so I don't really care. Fuck them.
Pixar movie makes a lot of money. Now that's a headline right there.
Jim, you saw Finding Dory. How was it?
It was a fun sequel, but like I'm still kind of like, Pixar, what are you doing? Like, I'm just a little like sick of it. It was weird because it's them.
Remember original ideas?
Yeah,
Remember that was a thing.
It's like them beat for beat doing Finding Nemo. Like they do. It's like the same story structure. I mean, it's a different movie, but like if you look at the story structure of it, it's like almost identical. And it's sad when the studio that was super original is now trying to be themselves.
Right.
And you're like, what happened? But one funny thing, I said this to Nolan earlier, but Pixar has now made all the sequels. Pixar's now made all the Pixar's now made all the sequels that Disney was threatening to make when they were going to break up. They themselves have now made them all, which is Toy Story 3, Monsters Inc. 2, and Finding Nemo 2. So they've actually made them all themselves, which is kind of like a super sad, like, wow, what's going on with you guys? I don't know. While I was watching it, because I saw Finding Nemo earlier in the week, it made me a little depressed because it's like, this is still entertaining. It's not a bad movie, but it makes you go, what the fuck happened? Anyway, I'm sorry. What were you gonna say, DigiBro?
Just that, like, Monsters University. At least that one like was a different movie. Like, whereas Toy Story 3 is Toy Story 2, and Finding Dory, from what you've described, is Finding Nemo. At least Monsters U wasn't just Monsters Inc. again, but
I've never watched Monsters University since I saw it in theaters. Like,
yeah,
Toy
I mean, it's
Story
not a
3
great movie, but it's, at least it wasn't the exact same movie that they had already made.
I think Toy Story 3 is still a really good movie, but like conceptually, there's no reason to make a Finding Nemo 2. And Toy Story 3, at least they found a conceptual reason, and I think that's the fault of. But I'm not a big. I mean, I don't know. I like Finding Nemo. I know it's not the most respected in animation Pixar movie, but I still like it a lot.
It's not?
I always felt like people are always like want to disregard it because of how popular it is.
Hipsters.
They're all. Just have to disregard every Pixar movie at that rate. They're all.
That one sold like what 40 million on DVD. It's like that one's like ridiculously popular. I mean, Finding Nemo is like really huge.
I know Cars was like the highest grossing film of all time in terms of product sales. Like, yeah, like there's no movie that has had more tie-in sales than Cars, as far as I know.
I mean, it's just a simple concept. Cars. Kids love cars already, so that kind of just enhances everything.
Yeah, all you gotta do is take a Hot Wheels and slap a face on it and sell it for 50 cents more, and you're done.
Oh
yeah. That Cars thing, like with the merchandise, always weirded me out because it was like, when I was a kid around 2006, they were still playing like commercials for like toys for Cars 1 until like 2008, 2009. It's just like this movie's like 3-4 years old. Why is Disney still pushing it? And I was like, oh, merchandising. I get it now.
Yeah. But in terms of like Pixar movies, everyone seems to disregard. Like I think back to like A Bug's Life. Everyone seems to just like brush that off
one I don't
really
hear about at all. That's like oddly not talked about.
Bug's Life I didn't see for a while because of that, because people were like acting like it wasn't important. But then when I saw it, I was like, I actually really like Bug's Life. And now they're doing a live action remake with the Magnificent Seven, so that's interesting.
Oh, I thought they were going to do a live-action remake of Bug's Life.
No, I was joking. because it's all the Seven Samurai. Sorry.
I know, but I thought you were going to say.
Oh my God, is the Bug's Life like based on Seven Samurai? Like that kind of makes sense now that you've mentioned it. And
no, it is.
I haven't seen that movie in 20 years.
Oh man,
theme of the show today apparently.
There's
Samurai 7. I love that anime.
But yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. That one, because if you look at that one, it has like so much of a legacy because of what it does, like takes that classic Seven Samurai story and uses it. And I don't know, I like Bug's Life, but I think Good Dinosaur is going to be another one where in 20 years there's going to be all these like fandoms about it.
Is that movie any good? Because I've always heard it's just not good.
It's not that bad, but it's not. I think it does the whole dinosaur being lost thing, but it takes it in a more interesting way. I mean, clearly it's trying to do the problem with dinosaur movies after Land Before Time is they all, like Disney's Dinosaur, it does the same thing. Like they're not looking for the Great Valley, but instead they're looking for whatever this movie calls the Great Valley or something. Yeah. And in this is just him
basically did the same shit.
Oh, I never saw Ice Age. Are those good? I never got the information.
No.
So I avoided that franchise. When I see the trailers for the new one and they say it's the stirring conclusion to the trilogy, and I'm like, I'm staying away from this garbage.
There's like 5 of them. How could it be a trilogy?
I've had enough of that fucking squirrel.
Oh, the John Leguizamo squirrel.
No. That's he plays the sloth, but that's the squirrel that you always see teasers for, trying to get his nuts.
Isn't PewDiePie supposed to do a voice in the new Ice Age? Like I kept on hearing that.
Fuck?
Like I went to.
Man, I almost broke my earphones. Okay, what?
I don't know. I remember hearing on his IMDb, because I looked it up for some morbid reason, that he was supposed to do a voice for Ice Age 5, but this was like 2 years ago, so it was like Ice Age 5. Well, that's not going to happen. Wow. But it's like, I wouldn't put it past him.
Yet here it is. Coming soon.
Coming soon.
Aliens.
Yeah.
That's how you know they're running out of ideas. They're going into space.
Look, that studio that made Ice Age, they got nothing else going on. Like, I forget what their other movie was.
They made Peanuts.
What, Blue Sky? Who did Peanuts?
Blue Sky.
Okay. So they have that.
That's all they got. And then 5 more Ice Age movies, possibly. It's never gonna end.
Yeah, they don't.
It's never gonna fucking end.
Oh, Ferdinand, I guess based on Ferdinand the Bull. And Anubis?
What the hell is that?
The Anubis tapestry? I don't know what that is. Oh, man, I forgot they made Epic.
Oh, wow, that was a movie, but hey, I'm gonna be in the new Ice Age. I was in the other ones. It's me, John Leguizamo.
Do these people have, like, any other roles besides being on Ice Age anymore? Does Ray Romano have anything else
He's
going
in
on?
Vinyl. Big show on Showtime, something like that.
Oh, yeah, nobody watched that show. That was
No, everybody's watching that show. It's still on.
Really?
My parents watch it anyway.
Oh, everybody, you mean your parents?
Yeah, well, my parents are very pleb tier, so I assume that anything they watch is something everyone is watching.
No, I don't think it did.
Parents out, damn.
Yeah. I don't think it did that well, but Ray Romano, mainly what he does now is he goes to his mailbox and gets checks for Everybody Loves Raymond syndication, I guess, you know.
Oh no.
He's like, oh, it played on TBS again, ha.
Yeah, I assume that's how everyone from Seinfeld is now. Like, I don't think they do anything. They just live off their Seinfeld and B-movie money.
Except for Julia Louis-Dreyfus has beat, but I think she's the... And Jason Alexander's real hyped for that Duckamn review coming out, so you can get some Duckamn residuals.
I don't know. I'm kind of wondering if, like, Jason Alexander really cares about Duckamn. Like, I saw an interview with him, and he was saying, yeah, Duckamn used to air on this show on UPN, which is a channel no one really watches, and I'm thinking... It's not UPN, you asshole.
Like
you say.
He was just doing it like as weekend work.
I think so. Like he admitted in an interview, well, in the bonus features of the DVD, saying that he auditioned for Duckamn, but he didn't know it was the name of the TV show, and he just assumed this was a character for some existing show that would for a character that would appear for like one episode. Like, I wonder if he actually did give a shit about Duckamn in the end.
Well, he could probably, it was probably the only role he could do that he could do during doing Seinfeld, because it's just a voice role. So he could ask them to work it around his schedule or something.
Questions. If anybody has a question, be sure to start out with the word question so it's easier to find. And post them on the YouTube comments of this podcast. So the first question is the Scratchy Cherry. Question: what redesign of an older cartoon or video game character do you think surpasses the original design?
Interesting.
This is only video game?
Video game or cartoon.
Okay.
I mean, have you seen the original Green Lantern?
Oh, yeah.
He looks terrible.
Yeah, or even the Flash. Like, I like the Silver Age Flash. He looks better than the original Flash.
With the tin on his head. Well,
yeah.
I like that original design for the Flash, the one with the saucer pan on the head. I don't see that being very aerodynamic, but I don't know. I just like that.
I think Batman animated Batman is the best Batman, in my opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I hate how modern Batman is just like this generic looking armor.
You see, the difficulty of this question is that there's, like, for a lot of these characters, they've been remade 1,000 times over the years. So it's like, do they want the most recent reiteration of a character that we think is better? Or
I just say the best iteration.
Yeah.
I mean, there's certain, like, I think comics it works a little better for because you have so many different artists coming towards them. And there's so many different interpretations. Whereas, like, in cartoons, I think you're speaking on specific shows. But I liked how they redid, even in Mystery Incorporated. I didn't mind those designs.
Well, a recent one would be Bee and Puppycat, if that's ever coming out. But the original designs for Bee and Puppycat, they pretty much look very much like Adventure Time characters. But the new one, it kind of had more of a storybook look to it, and I kind of like that. But there's a lot of people who just hate that newer style.
Well,
I don't know. I mean, people hated the new Steven Universe designs compared to the pilot when that was first announced.
Really?
So it's just there was a huge backlash of people.
I didn't like the pilot designs. I like the regular designs a lot more.
Yeah, I mean, it's the fact that people get used to one thing and they're shown something different.
Because I tried to rewatch the pilot, and I was like, I never really liked the pilot that much. That's why it took me a while to watch the show, because I was like, I don't know about this. But then, like, I really like the designs on the show. I think they work better for everybody. But hey, what do I know? I don't know.
For video games, like, have you noticed that Bomberman has had like so many redesigns, and it's just
oh god.
Almost every game.
Every single generation has a totally different one.
What about Bomberman Jeeters?
Yeah, the GameCube one, Jeeters.
There's two on the GameCube, Generation and Jeeters, and they both look totally different. Jeeters was more like anime.
The one where Bomberman looks very effeminate and just like, what the fuck did they do to Bomberman?
That one that was the one with the whole anime adaptation out of it, like 50 episodes or something like that.
Wasn't there a scene in the anime that had like that sampled audio from Seinfeld? Like they played the Seinfeld theme in Bomberman?
That I don't know, but that sounds amazing if true.
I swear, someone showed me a clip, and for some reason they just play the Seinfeld theme. But also, I know the intro theme is just a ripoff of The Offspring.
There's a lot of anime reboots, but they tend to stick very close to the like original designs. Like, you know, there's a lot of nostalgia involved with it, so they don't try to deviate too much. Like a lot of anime will look different from the source material, and I'd say that when it comes to like visual novels, they almost always look better in the anime. Higurashi would be a great example of that, where the original looks like garbage, and the anime looks great. But I can't think of an example of like a reboot where the designs were better. They ruined them in the newest Ghost in the Shell anime, so that would be the counter example.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, what did you think of the FMA? It's more of an art style change.
Oh yeah, Brotherhood. Yeah, I think the first show had more like character to it in the way that the characters were drawn, where it felt more like real and sort of had this rustic aesthetic to it. And
I think the color palette too was like,
yeah, the color palette was more like real feeling, and the characters in Brotherhood are like, they more emphasize like what is unique and distinct about the character designer's original work. You know, like they really emphasize like the Hiromu Arakawa style. If you were to compare like Brotherhood to like Silver Spoon or The Heroic Legend of Arslan, which are other shows that she drew, like it really looks like those, whereas the original FMA looks a bit different. So I can't say which one I like more though, and Brotherhood has way more characters because it incorporates like way more of the manga, and so some of the coolest character designs don't even show up in the original show. So yeah, I don't know. It's one of those hard things where like I like Brotherhood as a show way more than FMA, but there's a lot of stuff that because I grew up with FMA, the original, and like had seen it, you know, way back in the early 2000s, then like there's some nostalgia blindness to it. Like it's hard to look at with a fresh set of eyes and say, oh, these designs are definitely worse or better. So yeah, that's I guess what I'd say about that.
Okay, yeah, that's fair enough.
I think one redesign that I like a lot is was it for Transformers Animated? I think it was the characters were designed by the same guy who did like Mystery Incorporated and Ben 10 Omniverse. I don't know why. I just
Derek J. White.
Yeah, I just really like that style, and plus it's like one of the only Transformers shows that I actually enjoyed because like the human characters weren't completely worthless.
I found it hard to get into for me when it was first airing, since I don't know, it always looked too jerky, the animation, very choppy.
Yeah. Transformers Animated was by Studio 4C, right? There was like a Japanese animated show, but an American TV show, I think. Or they worked on it. I'm not sure. I know they did that Thundercats show, that most recent one.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, but that's a good redesign, Thundercats. But,
I like that too. Yeah.
Nolan, I gotta read this email that I got. I'm gonna cut this out, but let me read this.
A few moments later.
Love the podcast. Tell Nolan his reboot hate fuels me as I work on it. Peace. Who's a storyboard artist on the new,
Motherfucker.
Old Nolan.
That was an exclusive for the stream, but fuckers. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm kind of actually a little offended right now. Give me his email. I'm gonna send him a fake. I'm gonna send him like a fake email that's like, "You think your words hurt me? Oh, what? Yeah, you think you're so great? Well, I'm on the Pizza Party podcast. I'm on a podcast with over 200,000 subscribers. What have you done with your life, huh? Huh? Yeah, that's what I thought. Have fun with your shitty reboot, motherfucker. I'm out." And then I type in like, and like in between asterisks, hops on a skateboard, does a kickflip, and falls over and cries. My favorite type of slapstick is like skateboarding tricks gone wrong. Like, I don't know why, but it's just seeing somebody like do a skateboarding trick, fall over, and then start this like really bad. It's just so funny.
I think that would be enhanced if it was a Razor scooter, because no one uses those anymore, and that's like the pinnacle of dorkiness.
Hey, man. I liked my Razor scooter.
Yeah, you could put them in your backpack, fold them up.
Oh yeah, I forgot you could fold them up.
You have to have a fucking huge backpack for that.
Yeah. When I was when I lived in my old neighborhood back in Wisconsin, I was like, I had a Razor scooter and I was going down this really, really big hill, but like I got caught on a small pebble and I tripped and fell over and I skinned my knee and I was like, I hurt. And my family was walking with me and I think my dad laughed.
Oh, yeah. I've bailed on my Razor scooter. I actually think I still have a scar on my shoulder from like a particularly bad bail.
Whenever chicks are like, "Oh man, you have a scar. That's so badass. Where'd you get it from?" Were you like, "I was fighting about my favorite anime."
I got into a sword fight over the honor of K-On! And I had to protect my...
The honor of K-On!
Oh, K-On! Was that like your ex-girlfriend?
That would be an interesting name.
You don't still think about her, do you?
No.
Oh man, but we have a question that pertains to that. It's related. H.C. Brown, who sent me stuff through mail. Question: have any of you had to deal with any anime elitists or cartoon elitists? If so, what did they say to you?
Aren't we the ones? Isn't that people with podcasts who you don't get more elitist than us, right? Or is it just me?
Yeah.
Shit, nigga. That's real. That's real. That's real.
Wow.
Did you ever have to make like a top 10 anime or anything?
Yeah, I did do one on my channel one time 2 years ago, but the most up-to-date one is on my my anime list account. Has my top 10 on it.
Yeah, because if you ever make a top 10, there's always going to be some person saying, "Why didn't you put this on here?" Or "How come this is over?"
Oh,
this
no.
one
I
in this
haven't made
ranking?"
like a top 10 of all time type thing. Like I meant like a favorites list, but I don't believe in that because I don't believe in like any kind of objective standard. Because as far as I'm concerned, my top 10 are the 10 best anime because they represent everything I want the medium to be. So there's no distinction to me, but I wouldn't want to try to be like, oh, these are what I think everyone should think is the top 10 because there's no chance of that,
Yeah, well, I do that all the time, so, yeah. But anime elitism, like, I don't know, I was always that asshole in school. It's like, why do you like this movie? It has, like, this percent on Rotten Tomatoes. You can't like it.
Oh, Rotten Tomatoes, I don't even think was a big thing yet when I was in high school, but, like, yeah, I was definitely a snob in high school. Like I was absolutely, because I knew way more about anime than everybody else, and I constantly would talk down to people who were like Naruto and Bleach fans and shit, and be like, "Yeah, you guys don't know anything," But over time, I don't know. A lot of people still think I'm an elitist, probably. So I don't want to like speak for like be like I'm totally not an elitist anymore. But I do get into fights with them still. Plenty of people who don't like my taste I have to fight with all the time. So yeah, I do have to deal with anime elitists.
Yeah, I mean, usually, I don't know. Sometimes if I get a comment like that, I always just tell them like, Don't worry. Next time I make a video, I'll consult you and only you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck all you people. Fuck all of you in the
Well,
comments. assholes.
sometimes I feel like they think they have some like editorial voice over what you do, and it's like it's one thing to go, I don't agree with you, but it's another to be like, I feel like what you should have done. And you're like, what the fuck? Like, it's just very weird.
I get a lot of shit just because my favorite anime is indeed K-On!, which is a show that is widely disrespected by a lot of people and misunderstood by a lot of people. So I get a lot of like, how can we take your opinion seriously on anything if your favorite anime is K-On!? And I'm like, well, I made an 1.5 hour long video analyzing it. You can watch that, and if you don't agree with me, then okay. But like, if you find my opinions to be interesting, then that's what makes them interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like when you did that Sword Art Online video diatribe, that hour-long one, and then you made a minor like error, and then everybody was like, you didn't understand Sword Art Online.
Yeah, I made the one big error, and it's like 2 minutes into the video. So it's like this hour-long video, and everyone gets like all the big SAO like fanboys will get like 2 minutes in and then write a huge comment about how I'm wrong about everything because I got that one thing wrong. And it's like this is like a pebble in the face of the mountain of complaints I have. Like, come on, guys, get it. Who cares about that? I get it. I fucked up. Move on. Like, look at the rest of it.
That's like if you're in an argument with someone online, like all you got to do is find one spelling error or one misuse of the word there, and you've won. You've won the argument.
Well, you haven't won. You've made yourself feel that you've won, but
no, I won. Shh. That or all you got to do is say, the fact that you replied means I'm right.
In my mind, I have won every argument I've ever been in because I believe I won. So I win. There's no you cannot convince me that I did not win. So as far as I'm concerned, I won.
I thought when you were in that sword fight, it was like a Highlander sword fight. So I think you did win.
Oh yeah, like I had to kill him because there could be only one.
Yeah, there could be only
Talking about this reminds me of when I used to make this card game in like grade school, and me and all my friends got into it. And I decided, you know what? I'm gonna make the best card. So I made this card called Game Over, and like if I drew it, I won. And then this started a huge chain event where people would come up with their own cards to combat that card, but also make them win. And then I had to make cards combating their cards, and then it just repeated ad nauseum. And it was hilarious.
So it's like, who can make the most convoluted like card with the most specific rules possible?
Yes.
Jesus.
I feel like you could make an interesting card game out of this concept if you really tried.
Oh yeah.
We gotta patent this shit now.
It would be like, have you ever heard of the card game We Didn't Playtest This?
No. It sounds familiar.
It's a game where the cards just have like random, insane, asinine rules, and you just draw random stuff, and it'll be like, sometimes it's like put your finger in your nose, and the other one will be like you win the game, and it's just like complete nonsense. It's a good party game.
Oh, that reminds me, like a while back I went to my friend's birthday and they had their friends. I don't know who they were, but we were playing Cards Against Humanity, and one of them mentioned Sean Connery, and I had to spend like 10 minutes trying to explain to a group of people my age who are like 22 who Sean Connery is, and everyone's like, who?
Really?
Oh my god.
It's like,
what?
Ow.
Come on, Sean Connery, Pete.
Yeah, you should have just told them to ask Grandpa Jim.
Fuck you. No, you should have been like, guys, didn't you see League of Extraordinary Gentlemen?
Yeah, his finest role.
That was a cinematic classic.
Wasn't that his final film for a while?
That is, as of right now, I believe his final film. He hasn't done.
Oh, no. There's another film that came out recently, like 20 years ago.
You're the Man Now Dog came out way before, so that's not.
Yeah, wasn't it that like really crappy
not the
Scottish animated movie or something?
Yes, Sir Billy. Like, it's on Netflix. This really shitty looking CG animated film, Sir Billy.
Oh, you're right. You're right.
The only reason Sean Connery did the role for this movie is because it was made in Scotland. and he
Guardians.
and he needed to do something for his country.
It's Sir Billy, or alternative title, Guardian of the Highlands.
It's not a Highlander sequel, disappointingly, no.
Oh, man.
Yeah, but it's on Netflix. It's one of those, like, Walmart level of knockoff films you see at a Walmart that look like it was rendered on a PS1 pre-rendered cutscene.
You know they
Part
did.
is, I think the creators of that Sir Billy movie got mad that Brave did better than it.
That's the best.
I bet the knockoff of Brave did better. What was the knockoff version? Brave Story? Brave Girl?
Brave Story is a Japanese novel and film.
Darn. The Walmart version of Brave.
Well, you know that with Sean Connery, you know they offered him that role. Did you guys see Skyfall, everybody?
Yeah.
Okay, you know how at the end of Skyfall where they go to the house and there's the caretaker?
Oh yeah, that guy who's just there. What?
Yeah,
Oh,
that was going to be Sean Connery originally.
that makes a lot of sense because that felt like a would-be cameo role. Like that, it's like a weird minor character who just kind of shows up and is there. So I totally get why that would have been originally written for that.
They really were campaigning, but they gave it to Albert Finney, who's still a pretty cool actor. But I was like, man, it would have been cool, but Sean Connery hates the producers of the Bond movies, so he was never going to do it.
Let the sky fall.
They kind of didn't, when the series was originally blowing up, they didn't really know how to deal with the celebrity, because it got enormously popular, and like he couldn't even go to the bathroom without people harassing him in the stalls, and they didn't pay him well enough, and they didn't offer proper security, and he like couldn't leave his hotel room while filming. I think it was Thunderball. He couldn't even leave his hotel room. And when I read more about like the treatment he was getting, it was kind of like, I don't know. I don't think I would like those people either, because I'd be pissed off, because I'd be like, I can't go anywhere and I'm making no money and you're not giving me security. Go fuck yourselves. How about that? Like, why the fuck should I, like, why am I doing this? I'm the most famous person, one of the most famous people in the world, and I'm getting treated like garbage. I think like he kind of was like, this is fucking crap, and got pissed off. And yeah, but it was around Thunderball that like, I think just the treatment was just, he wasn't really happy before, but then after that it really pissed him off.
So wouldn't it be under like totally different management at this point though? Like,
well,
are
it's
the same people making Bond?
It's the same family. It's the Broccoli family, and it used to be Albert
Broccoli.
Yeah, well, because they brought broccoli to America, so that's why.
Oh, wow.
So, but the Albert Broccoli, he died, and then his daughter and
how long have we had broccoli in America? Like,
I don't know. I just know that's why they're called that. I don't know. Like,
I never would have thought of broccoli as something we didn't already have forever in America.
Well, a lot of America's changed because of white people, so that's like a white people thing. White people were like, we need more broccoli, and they're like, well, we could have this Indian village here, and they're like, fuck that, let's get some broccoli in this piece. Make these Indians walk a trail of tears.
So this family is responsible for broccoli and James Bond. That's what they've. Wow, that's a lot to contribute to the world from one family.
Yeah, well, you know, they. I wonder if they still do broccoli. I actually don't know that part. But yeah, now it's his daughter.
I know what I'm gonna spend my day Wikipedia reading.
The broccoli family. Yeah. That's what I had heard. Now I'm nervous. Now I have to look it up to make sure I'm right. Now I'm nervous. Oh no! People are gonna be like, they didn't bring broccoli. It was
I typed broccoli family into Google and I got cabbage family, which is not what I asked for.
Sorry, that wasn't that funny. I shouldn't have laughed that much.
Darn. But next question. Joshua Boligia. Question. By the time the next podcast comes, E3 would have happened. What's your most hyped games of E3?
Death Stranding. Death Stranding.
I like that new Legend of Zelda. Pretty good. I like the trailer that they've shown for it.
Yeah, because it's more of an open world game, the new Zelda game, right?
Yeah, it reminds me of Dark Souls.
Zelda Breath of the Wild makes my penis very erect.
Just frothing jizz.
It gives me a large boner. I want to play it.
I mean, I guess it looks interesting, like, if it's, like, just open world, because they say you can just, like, go straight into Ganon, the moment you play the game, just fight the final boss if you want to. you'd be under-equipped, but you can still do that.
Yeah.
When you're playing a video game and you're like underpowered or underleveled, do you just like try the final, like an overpowered boss anyway?
No.
I
Like
can
something
do
you
it.
shouldn't be doing?
I can do it. I couldn't.
Yeah,
Fuck.
kind of. Just like, I know I'm going to die. I want to see how badly this guy can destroy me.
If you remember the first Mirror's Edge, the running game where you had to avoid being shot by the police and stuff, like what I would do, since I was such a badass at this game, is I would always just run up and try to kill all the SWAT teams and cops in this game, which you're not supposed to, and you're severely underpowered and can barely use the guns in this game. The aiming is terrible, but I would do it anyway, and it got to the point where I could do that and just kill all the fictional police members in this video game, not in real life. But yeah, I was that good.
Not bad. Yeah. Did you play the second one? That's out now, right?
Oh, not yet. I forgot that came out. No idea if it's any good or not. But the one game that I am excited for E3, well, I mean, they showed Cuphead, which we talked about before, but Ubisoft has this thing called Steep, which is some sort of snowboarding, skiing, just sports game in the mountains. And like, we haven't had a sports game like Tony Hawk in forever, so I'm just want more of these extreme sports games.
I kind of like that they were going to be re-releasing the first 3 Crash games, since I really like Crash Bandicoot.
I hate those games.
What the fuck?
How could you hate Crash?
I recently... I have a Let's Play show called DigiBros, and me and my friends tried to play Crash 1, and we realized that it was a fucking nightmare. And it was we played the whole game in one sitting, and we all lost our fucking minds because we were terrible. All of us absolutely terrible at it, dying constantly. It was a great time. We got drunk and screamed a lot, and but yeah, I can't take the controls in those games in Crash 1 and 2.
Yeah,
that's why we're getting a reboot. I mean, what do you call it? Remake.
Yeah. And he's getting a Skylanders like little statue, I guess.
There's also going to be a Berserk Muso game.
That is interesting. You know, I mean, I don't like Muso games, but it's a good fit for Berserk because he's a guy who kills a lot of guys. But it's kind of funny because like one of the biggest moments in Berserk, like the biggest like epic moment in the early part of the story, is when Guts kills 100 men all in one sitting, but the way it's presented is like this long drawn out crazy event that like is a part of his mythos, almost like a Greek mythological creature, you know, like he's the guy who killed 100 guys one time, and it's presented in such a big, grand, awesome way that to imagine a video game where you're gonna kill 100 guys every 5 minutes like really kind of detracts from that aspect of the legend, you know. But whatever.
Just say he killed 1,000 men or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm just getting into Berserk right now. Like it kind of took my liking for it was like a slow boil.
Yeah.
I didn't like Guts at first, but then I read the volume 2 and I was like, oh, this isn't too bad.
The first 3 volumes of Berserk are very different from the rest because it's because after volume 3 it goes back and it's the entire backstory. Like it starts from him as like when he's born. You can tell the author has a sort of different idea of what his character will be going forward than it was in the beginning. So like the Guts that you get in volume 1 is not the same as the Guts that you get when you get back to that part in the story. Like it's those first 3 volumes are kind of anachronistic to the rest of the series, but yeah, after that's when it gets like really good, is when it goes into the backstory and builds him up from there, and then it's like the whole thing is this character study of Guts, and yeah, he's not really the guy from volume 1 at all. Like he changes a lot.
Okay. That makes me feel a lot better because Berserk volumes are $15. So
yeah, that's always been a big problem. It's Dark Horse, man. They're that expensive because they know that only adults can buy it. And so, like, you know, back in that era of manga coming out, like, the pricing was very, like, correlated to what audience they thought was going to buy it. So, like, Shonen Jump manga were $8, and then, like, Berserk was, like, $15, or Hellsing or something. So they're like, yeah, adults have money. They can chill out. Fuck them. And then you spend, like, $800 trying to get all 40 volumes of Berserk.
I'm probably going to because the art is fucking masterful. I love it.
Yeah,
And the creature
it only
just-
gets better. The art, like he really develops like a unique style as it goes along, and it becomes very like wispy fantasy art. That's like every drawing looks like a fucking painting. Like when you get later into the series.
So you guys want to get into the next question?
Sure.
Okay.
I don't remember what that question was. I got so into talking about Berserk.
E3.
Oh yeah.
But the dog rises says, question. I'm only answering this question since I want to make fun of this person, but says, question, would you like a FHFIF reboot, Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends? Like, why would this person type it, the parentheses, I mean, the what is it when it's initials?
The abbreviation.
Yeah, the abbreviation of this long-ass title and then type it out in the full version. Why? Why would you do that? Just type out Foster's Home and we'll get it. We don't know what the fuck FHFIF is. I hate when people message me.
Yeah, I was thinking
saying,
Five Nights at Freddy's at first. I was trying to like...
Yeah, I couldn't figure out what that was.
people, please, like if you're gonna refer to something, some title of a movie or something, don't make the abbreviation. Don't put TY for Toy Story or something. I hate that. Nobody knows what the fuck you're talking about. Okay? So next question. Fuck this person.
Wow. That's fucking savage, man.
Yeah, it's like nobody wants a fucking reboot of Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends.
Foster's Home sucked.
No, what the fuck did you say?
Whoa.
I said Foster's Home sucks.
What the fuck? Why?
It
Back
looks
that up.
really, it looks really pretty, but basically the humor is just every character is an asshole to each other.
No, just Blue's an asshole.
I never liked the show because to me the Blue was the most entertaining character, and the entire show was people being mad at him for being fun, and it just drove me nuts. Like I would see 3 episodes in a row that all had the same storyline. Like Blue wants to do something and no one else wants him to do it, and they're all mad at him. And then in the end, whatever he wanted to do resolves in a funny way. And I'm like, okay, this is the whole fucking show. It felt like they had so much they could do with that premise, and they didn't really do much with it. At least in most of the episodes I saw.
Either that or Frankie was always abused in some way.
Yeah, that was the other one.
And that's fucking obnoxious to me because Frankie was like a decent character and really nice, and like all the humor was just mean spirited.
Shut up, Mr. Ed.
So that's why I didn't like it. And
I'm glad you had the exact same impression of that show that I did. Like that's everything I ever felt about Foster's is exactly what you just described.
Nice.
I mean, the main thing I didn't like about Foster's was the episode with Bendy, but that was about it.
Everyone hates fucking Bendy. Like, back in my top 10 worst Cartoon Network moments, I put him in there. Fuck him.
Yeah, didn't Lauren Foss like apologize? Like, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah,
essentially, what happened with the Bendy episode? Well, for those who haven't seen the Bendy episode, essentially there was an episode where in this foster home for imaginary friends, someone drops off this troublemaking imaginary friend, and he does, I don't know, he breaks a vase, and like all the other imaginary friends say, Bendy did it, but no one believes them. Nobody believes the characters that been there since the beginning. They believe this new guy.
Nobody believes Wilt, who like never lies ever, but they believe this random guy.
Yeah, and the worst of all, the episode was originally going to be 30 minutes long, because the early episodes of Foster's were 30 minutes long, but Cartoon Network decided to have 15-minute episodes, so they had to cut a lot of stuff out, is what resulted in this episode being so terrible. And that's why Lauren Foss just regrets what she's done. I'm sure that's the only thing Lauren Foss regrets in her career.
Cats don't dance.
Hey, what the fuck did you say about Cats Don't Dance?
Oh, where are we bringing that up?
Yeah, what Cats Don't Dance do to you?
Yeah, Nolan.
Yeah, damn. Don Bluth, you know what it's like being him every day, waking up crying, being like, what's
Yeah,
the point?
the most notoriety he got was being on an episode of fucking Nostalgia Critic.
Wait.
Was he really?
Yeah, he was on
Yeah, he like interviewed him and like everything.
Yeah,
Wow, I didn't know that. What's he doing lately?
Nostalgia Critic?
No,
Because I will take any opportunity I can get to shit on Nostalgia Critic.
No, I know how. No, Cats Don't Dance was Don Bluth. I thought it's not. Don
Wasn't
Bluth.
it was
It's Warner Brothers.
Yeah, it's Turner and Warner Brothers. Mostly
Oh,
Turner.
I guess I just assumed.
I thought
And
we
I made
hated
an ass out of myself.
I thought we hated Doug Walker's brother, but not him himself, not Nostalgia Critic himself for his business practices, you know? Anyway.
I just think he makes shitty videos.
What'd you say?
I said I just think he makes shitty videos.
High five!
Okay, damn.
Yeah!
Yeah, there we go.
Jeez.
We totally did actually high five, just, you know.
Yeah, or Skype.
We slapped our computer screens, and
Wow.
I felt the magic.
Yeah, that's the show that everyone seems to hate looking back on it now, Foster's Home. Everyone just has something bad to say about either Blue or just the show itself. Aiden Solis, question. Do you think if the Warcraft and Assassin's Creed movie will be successful enough to start a blockbuster movie summer as for video games, just like superhero movies?
I mean, not from the Warcraft movie I saw.
No.
I don't know about Assassin's Creed. Since it's opening the weekend after Rogue One, so I'm sure it's going to do really well.
It's going to get road chipped.
I mean,
oh.
I you know what? When I was seeing and Pan put this in his post, and it's like true. It's like the thing with the Warcraft movie that like the first Iron Man got that Warcraft doesn't is that it's not concerned with getting new people into Warcraft. It's just like if you like Warcraft, I'm sure you'll like that movie. But like for everyone else, they're like, what the fuck is this? Like, who are these people? What's going on?
Yeah.
And like in the first Iron Man, people who didn't like superhero movies like that because they're like, oh, Tony Stark's really cool. I like Robert Downey Jr. I want to see more movies with him. And at the end of Warcraft, I was like, I want to go. Where's the bathroom? Like,
yeah, I mean, for the Warcraft movie, I had a basic understanding of what was going on, but there was so much stuff that was like, what's this? What's this giant black cube? What's this library for? What's this healing pool thing?
Yeah.
And like, you barely know who the characters are. Like, there's Shrek Daddy and the girl from Guardians of the Galaxy.
Official name?
Shrek Daddy, yeah.
It was just like it was really not a great. I still think Gods of Egypt was a lot more fun. So.
Oh yeah, and also I learned that for orcs, they give birth through their ass, according to this movie.
Really?
Was it like just a vivid scene where an orc was being pushed out of another orc's ass, like in the Ace Ventura with the rhino?
It wasn't that graphic, but kinda. It was just like this giant pregnant orc who fell over on her front side, and she's basically bent over with her ass sticking out, and someone just reaches into her ass and just pulls out a baby orc.
What the fuck?
Just fucking weird. Make it stop.
It wasn't a good. I don't know. I don't think anyone. I think people want a big video game blockbuster movies. It's just like if they're gonna do them this way, it's not gonna happen.
No, like, I mean, you got to be accessible to people who never heard of these franchises. I never played Warcraft, and I have no idea what the hell any of this stuff is. Like, I understand the story, like the basic of it, but I don't understand what these characters are doing or who they are, what's with this power stuff, and why are these orcs following this one magic guy? I don't know.
I mean, wasn't the movie a prequel to most of the games?
I don't freaking know.
The story was.
Who cares?
I mean, it was like they need to not think about Marvel and superhero movies and about success. They need to think like, oh, why do people like Tony Stark? That's what they need to think about when they make these, and then they'll have a success. But until they do that, it's not gonna get any better.
Yeah. Also, no, Leroy Jenkins was not in the movie.
Oh, it's a lot better than we usually do. All right, thumbs up. Ready, guys? Let's do this. Leroy Jenkins.
Oh my god, he just ran in.
Yeah, bullshit. Someone should have ran in during the screening and go, Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, that would have saved the movie. No, it wouldn't save the movie. It'd just be a good clip online. Yeah.
I mean, they should pay someone to go to every screening and do or did Leroy Jenkins get to go to the premiere? Like, what is Leroy Jenkins doing now? What happened?
I hope so.
Someone do a follow-up piece. I want to know like what he thinks. He could do a review of the movie that would do very well. Like make that video, Leroy Jenkins.
Where Are They Now special with Leroy Jenkins.
I'm gonna add a question in. What do you guys think is the best video game movie out now? Because I'm gonna say Ratchet and Clank.
I've heard Angry Birds is really good, despite the concept.
I mean, it's not good. I mean, I don't know. It's better than Warcraft.
Compared to other video game movies.
Angry Birds was decent. I mean, I thought it was an okay movie, but I thought the pacing was way too fast.
Yeah. I don't know if there is, like, there's not a video game movie I particularly think is, like, great, amazing or anything. I can't think of one.
Everyone always just circles back to Mortal Kombat, but no one ever praises Street Fighter for some reason. Like, Street Fighter was just as campy.
Yeah, I might just say Wreck-It Ralph because that's a video game.
That doesn't count.
I think with what Nolan said with Ratchet and Clank, I thought it was okay, but I couldn't get over the fact that Ratchet has the same voice as Johnny Test.
Uh-oh.
So it's just like, I'm sure, it's just like I couldn't get over that.
Nolan, you saw the Ratchet and Clank movie. What'd you think of it?
I played Ratchet and Clank when I was really young, and then I traded in all the games because I'm a fucking idiot. But I thought it was good. I didn't think it was anything particularly special, but it was, unlike other video game movies, it was a functional, fun movie. Like, I think Jim best described it as a cartoon in between cartoons you wanted to watch.
Did it at least, like, reflect the games? Like, did you see...
very well, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
But, like, that's the same thing. I think I liked Ratchet and Clank more than Warcraft, but I feel like it's the same thing where, like, everyone I know who played Ratchet and Clank liked it, and every review I read from someone who had never played it, like, didn't like it as much. And I feel like that's, like, kind of where we're at now, where we make movies that are good just for the gamers, but we're not thinking about getting in your average Joe on the street, you know.
I'm looking at a list of every video game movie that's ever been, which is not as many as I thought there would be. None of them are great, but Silent Hill was okay. Maybe, I don't know. I don't even think I finished that movie.
People seem to like that movie.
I saw Nate's review of it, and I think what he said was it captured the spirit of the games the best.
Yeah.
But they tried to make sense of Silent Hill, which is not what you're supposed to do.
The first Resident Evil movie was fun when it came out, kind of. It had people getting killed. But Mortal Kombat's probably the best, and not because I think it's a great movie, but because I watched it in 1995 when I was 4 years old. So it's like the most nostalgic movie in the universe for me.
Wow.
It's like one of the only...
seen it 40 times.
It's one of the only video game-based movies to actually get a sequel. So, I mean, as to say for something.
Hey.
The sequel is fucking abysmal.
Annihilation.
Yeah, that's like, the funny thing is when I was a kid, I liked Annihilation more because it has a scene where Sub-Zero and Scorpion fight. And then I saw that when I was like 18 or so, and like the props are so bad that like there's a part where a bridge like falls down, and like I guess it was a practical effect, but it's obviously plastic, and you can see it kind of sway as it falls, like the ice, just like in that Batman movie with Mr. Freeze. Like, yeah, is it Dr. Freeze or Mr. Freeze?
Mr. Freeze.
Mr. Freeze.
Okay.
Killed the dinosaurs.
I like
Age.
I like Dr. Freeze. He goes, "Hello, I'm Dr. Freeze. Welcome."
Yeah, but Mortal Kombat Annihilation. If you watch that now, it is unbelievably badly made. It is a very schlock film, but the original is watchable.
I mean, when they bring in the stop motion monsters, that's as bad as it gets.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
Oh wow! Oh wait!
It's
and at
bad.
the final battle, like there's some. I think it was Raiden who just says, "Now it's time for Mortal Kombat," and the theme song plays. Yeah. So the audio from the theme song.
That's awesome, though.
Gets dubbed over him.
Yeah.
It had such a great techno soundtrack.
That's actually I think that happens at the end of the first movie, right? Well, no, that's not true. Yeah, I'm thinking of.
Some kid in high school stole my DVD that had both movies on one disc. Asshole.
Oh, that's fucked up. Sorry.
It's like, damn, he stole my shitty video game movies. Darn. The good thing it was only $4.99 at like a Walmart. But do you guys remember the Doom movie?
I never saw it.
I thought there is a duel movie. Isn't there a new one coming out?
No, there was a new game that came out, but not a.
What's the BFG then?
I'm looking at
Jim.
Sorry. Sorry.
I'm looking at this this list of that list of the video game movies. You can organize it by Rotten Tomatoes score. The highest rated Rotten Tomatoes score of any video game movie is 44% for Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within.
Holy shit.
Followed by 42 for Angry Birds, and then from there it's like everyone is just exponentially farther down, getting down to 1% at the bottom for Alone in the Dark, the Uwe film.
Uwe Boll. Oh man, have you guys seen his YouTube videos where he's complaining that people didn't fund his Kickstarter?
So here's Uwe Boll, and that is the last update. We have only 4 days to do with the Rampage campaign, and now Kickstarter failed too. And basically my message is, fuck yourself. It looks like nobody gives a shit about Rampage 3, so maybe I shouldn't do it then. I have enough money to play golf till I'm dead. I want to do Rampage 3 because it is an important movie, but it looks like you're easier giving $600,000 if you make a movie about some retarded wizard in the forest, or for another whatever Marvel Avengers bullshit dirt. So goodbye and goodbye Hollywood.
Yeah. No, but that sounds great.
Oh man, I mean they're still up. Thankfully, he has a YouTube channel where he's just ranting about stupid crap. But I'll use the audio in the actual podcast. It's so terrible. He's just like he wanted to make a third. What's it called? I forget which franchise. Rampage.
Oh.
It has nothing to do with the video games. Just a movie called Rampage 3. He made a Kickstarter and it didn't make funding. And he just said, you know what? Fuck you, I have enough money to play golf until I die, so I'm not making any movies anymore. Fuck all of you.
It wasn't part of it like, I don't want to make these stupid Marvel bullshit movies that mean nothing, which is a weird thing to say when you're who he is.
Yeah.
I mean, he's so, like, I mean, he's very pretentious about, like, you'd all rather watch your Avengers Marvel bullshit than my movie. But my favorite quote from one of his videos is him saying, "You'd all would rather fund a Kickstarter movie about a retarded elf running through the forest than one of my movies." Which I don't know what he's referring to, but I want to see that movie instead.
Yeah, I want to see that movie.
Retarded elf running through the forest.
Sounds like a good movie.
Oh man,
sounds better than anything Uwe Boll would make.
But one video game movie that gets overlooked a lot is the Dead or Alive movie, since that came out like 2005, and that's clearly going for the same tone as the Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter movies of the 90s, and I have to appreciate that aspect. They're just as campy.
Does anybody like the Street Fighter film of the 90s, though?
I loved it in terms of how bad it was. I mean, Raul Julia is the best in that thing. That's the best final performance since Joker in Dark Knight. Like, I'm not joking here. I'm serious.
Well, to answer that guy's question about the Warcraft movie, though, apparently it has grossed $318 million so far, making it the third highest grossing video game film of all time. Angry Birds being number 2 with $327 million.
Wait, what's number 1 then?
Prince of Persia: The Sands of Time.
Oh, that was
$336 million.
Everyone forgets that. I mean, it's doing well in China, but I don't know if it made enough to really warrant a sequel. Like, I don't think there's going to be another Warcraft.
Yeah,
you know?
Although China has a huge say in movies now, because I don't know. Like, I watched Ninja Turtles, and like in the beginning, I think China helped fund the new Ninja Turtles film, since in the beginning it just says China Film Productions and.
Oh yeah, it was like some weird production company that you're like, what?
What is this?
It was something like China Film Corp, and you're like, oh, okay, you couldn't even hide it. Like, come on.
Yeah, that and what was that magician movie? Now You See Me. Like, I saw that a week ago, and that a majority of that took place in China. And I'm just thinking, wasn't there some sort of thing where if you have a certain amount of Chinese actors or film the movie in China, you get a tax break or something?
Well, it's that might be true as well, but it's also that the Chinese government only lets a certain amount of American films open in China every year. So if you make enough of the movie in China, it doesn't count as an import, it counts as a Chinese film, and so you're okay. So then you're not so then you can release another American film in China. But at least with Warcraft, the reason it's doing so much better in China is because half the people who play Warcraft live in China. So it's more of, it's not only the Chinese box office, it's also because so much of the fan base is there. That's probably why it did a lot better, because it's more popular there than it is here at this point, I believe. Or who knows? I've never been to China. What do I know?
I bet the next Warcraft movie will incorporate that Kung Fu Panda thing. Because there's
probably.
There's some sort of Kung Fu Panda expansion thing in Warcraft, which it came out before Kung Fu Panda, but everyone just calls it the Kung Fu Panda world or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, video game movies are... At least they're trying to appeal to the actual people who play the games, but not to anyone else.
Well, I think they're in a weird spot, but they need somebody. They need a better filmmaker, because it is kind of like the publishers are really involved, and it seems like what they need to understand, that Marvel did understand, is that you need to get a filmmaker heading it and have their voice in there as well, not just like the perfect movie from the developer, the publisher. It needs to, Marvel at least understood how to get Favreau and use Favreau's voice to make a cool movie, and they're just making like very corporate but very accurate video game movies, and I don't think that works well for movies. I think it just works well to keep the fans happy, but then that's not. They need to make a something to get the audience. Or like you said in your post, if they had someone in the Warcraft movie who's like, "What's this crazy thing?" and they're like, "Oh, well, this wizard, let me explain this," you'd at least know what was going on.
Yeah.
And they're not concerned with that. That's what they need to have happen. They need a Luke Skywalker character, or somebody like that.
Yeah, for the Warcraft movie, there was this character who was clearly like some sort of wizard in training, and I feel they could have used him more, like basically have him like be a newbie instead, where he's just learning about these things, like, because I have no idea what this tower is, what this block that they just had that teleports him to some other thing. Nothing made any sense to me.
Yeah, they need to think more about that stuff. But then, I don't think anyone's against it. They just want a good one.
Yeah. But I guess one final question. All right. Envy Fish says, question. My uncle passed away not too long ago, and I was listening to you guys as it helped me out with depression tremendously. In hopes of my question being answered on my favorite podcast, what do you guys watch and listen to when you're feeling down?
It depends on my mood entirely, honestly, because sometimes I'll listen to music, but sometimes that doesn't help. So I listen to podcasts. Sometimes that doesn't help. Scary stories I almost always listen to.
It depends on the mood, or sometimes I'll listen to like motivational kind of music where I'm like, yeah, I can do this. I'm going to do this today, but other times it's just like you have to just kind of pick yourself back up or something like that,
Kind of same. I usually will listen to like motivational songs or something, and Sleepy Cast by like it's like a podcast by like Chris O'Neill, Psychic Pebbles, all those like Newgrounds animators. It's usually gets me out of a bad mood pretty quick. It's like a comedy podcast.
Yeah, I don't know. They say like it's better to like listen to, like if you're feeling sad, it's better to listen to songs that are also sad, because that helps you, I don't know, release your emotions rather than bottle them up.
Not for me.
What?
Yeah, that's not happening.
I tend, when I'm feeling down, if I listen to something sad, I'm just going to end up wallowing in it extra. But if I try to listen to something like upbeat, if I'm like really depressed, that can seem too like glib and like this isn't helping, because I know that what I'm trying to manipulate myself. So instead I try to listen to music that's completely devoid of emotion, like anything that's like instrumental and technical and doesn't really make me feel anything in particular. It's just kind of chilled out. Like I like the Japanese band Toe, who are like a post-rock sort of like mathy band, and like any kind of like math rock really. There's anything that's more about like the proficiency of the instrumentation than the emotions. And then also to just like watch Let's Plays, because you don't have to think when you're watching a Let's Play. You can just zone out and veg on the couch and watch Grumps for 2 months like I did when my channel went down.
Yikes.
Oh, your channel got taken down?
Yeah, like early last year, my channel went down for a couple weeks, and like I was like mad at that like singularity level of anger where I cannot like take that anger, so I just, all right, instead of being angry, I'm gonna lay on my couch and watch Game Grumps forever. And I watched the entire Dan era of Game Grumps in the span of about a month.
The Dan era.
Wow, how did you get your channel back? Like, did you have to fight?
It was a kind of thing where it was kind of lucky because I had a strike on there for a while, and at the time I didn't really know how to fight strikes, so I hadn't really been trying. But I decided to submit a counter notification, and then it just so happened that right after I'd submitted that, then I got 2 more strikes at once, and that took the channel down. But then 2 weeks later, and I fucking couldn't get into contact with anybody at YouTube or anything because it's all fucking run by machines. But then 2 weeks later, the initial counter notification I'd filed finally went through. So it reduced the strikes back down to 2 and my channel came back. Then I contested the other 2. And ever since then, now I contest absolutely everything as soon as I get it so that can't happen again.
Yes, but I usually look at anything early 2000s and upbeat and bright. That also helps, like Crazy Taxi, because... well, a lot of Sega games in general just have blue skies and green grass, and that always makes it seems very upbeat.
You know, there's also something else that has a blue sky and green grass. It's called Outside.
Shut up. Never again. I'm not going out there.
I don't know, whatever kind of works for you. So, person who asked that question, I'm glad we helped you out, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry to hear about your uncle.
So, is this the end of the podcast? Who are you people?
I'm Nolan.
I was Jim.
I have been DigiBro.
I think I'm Super Spoe.
Yeah.
You think?
And so the next video is gonna be a review on Duckamn. And DigiBro, did you want to admit what your next video is?
Yeah, just it'll be. I'll tell you the title. It's how to distinguish a great anime in just one episode.
Okay.
That's helpful.
We'll see.
Yeah.
So yeah, goodbye every pony. Play us out, Emily and Stephany.
Triggered.
I can't record a song right now. Sorry, assholes.